Most partnerships in local economic development are set up to help change something. This is often stated in terms of strategy or priorities, goals, and actions. In relation to young people and employment, however, there is also a need to change behavior, the behavior of the public partners involved, and maybe help to change the attitudes, expectations, and actions of employers and young people themselves. Andrew Harrison of Learning Studio explains.
In your partnership, in your joint working with others, what is your shared theory of change? What do you think it is that will create change? What is your evidence for this? What's the depth and agreement of the shared understanding about the kinds of actions that will be critical, the kinds of actions that will be decisive? How do you take into account behaviour change, both your own behaviour change and that of the young people that your partnership is designed to try and help? Experience seems to suggest that this involves working with perspectives that take account of attitudes and expectations, that consider incentives as well as sanctions, are founded on a very strong sense of the individual's picture of risk and the sense of risk in a community or in a particular culture. And of course is bound to involve new ways of working and new connections between partners.
New ways of working in partnership can create the space in which young people have the opportunity to change their behavior and their expectations of themselves and their working lives. In southern Sweden, youth guidance is using coaching to help bring this about.
It focuses on young unemployed people aged 16 to 25. And they all have, I would say, very minimal chances of getting a job in the near future, and they all risk long-term unemployment. And we put a lot of effort into supporting this group. We try, I would say, a new method. We're working on a highly individual level with a coaching model. We listen to them, and we want to work with their goals, their ideas in lives, and their future. This is a full-time project for 12 weeks over a period of 2 years, so we will have 7 course rounds.
In addition to the young people, the project aims to bring about big changes in the working practices and assumptions of partners. One of the aims of the project is to challenge the norms of the stakeholders, as Thomas Lotto explains.
This is also a joint project between the adult education and the social authorities, and has a numerous of people involved. We're working full-time with them. It also has very many challenges, of course. We have to force, basically, people to cooperate, to work together. And for me, there are 2 different perspectives in a project like this. Of course, there's the individual this perspective for them to get a job, to have a good future. But we also have the perspective of bringing decision makers together, organizations together, to politicians and people with power to understand that we have to try new methods to work together against the same goal.
This focus on behavior change can be difficult for partners. They need to be able to understand the relationship between their actions and services and how behavior might evolve for the better. Some partnerships are beginning to think about this in terms of the experiences of young people as they travel through a set of services provided by different partners. They try to improve the journey for the customer through the services provided by several different partners.
High-performing partnerships seem to be able to develop the capacity, or seem to have developed the capacity to relate problems and solutions more effectively together. They can examine evidence and use their understanding of the real story behind the evidence to develop more effective, more responsive services. In the UK at the moment, based upon the experience of healthcare services, we're increasingly trying to understand the experience of the customer as they travel through a series of services provided by partners. The so-called customer journey provides a basis for very effective diagnosis of the ways in which services can be improved, which partners seem to find it very practical to engage around.
In an example from Austria, the project Work for You provides support for small groups of young people with extreme emotional and behavioral problems. Often they have a history of very difficult experiences in team and group settings, so the project aims to help them with this as part of the preparation for the transition from school to employment. Dennis Thomasberger from the Federal Chamber of Labor explains.
The idea of the project is to combine school and a project for pupils at the age of 13, 14, 15 years old, and for pupils who have social emotional peculiarities, like difficulties to work in a team or to handle stress situations. We know that there are a lot of measures in the regions for handicapped persons, but there are no programs or no projects for this target group. It is a very preventive measure because it starts during the compulsory school, and we try through the project to prepare them for the labor market. They are working in the garden, they are working with wood, with metal, in the kitchen, and they should learn social skills as well as kind of technical skills which they will need in their working life.
And partners have learnt from their involvement in Work for You that, in the current economic crisis, many of the young people they help feel as if they are excluded from society, let alone the possibility of work. Dennis Thomasberger explains the need for young people and public service partners to search together for a way of supporting this move towards involvement in society through work.
Sometimes if they finish their school, they have really bad experiences. They are searching for a job and they get the feeling that they are not needed in the society. And with our project, we are searching together, and they will have probably a very soft step into the working life. And during the crisis, we think that actually this group will have even more hard to get a job. Challenges concerning our project, there was always the problem that in the youth network, different organizations have different interests. And we had to convince them that the youth are in the center, the youth are in the middle point, and it's not about creating jobs for their own organization. And with a lot of talking and discussing, we did it.
So young people need partnerships to help them change their behavior and expectations and support them on the journey into work. In order to do this effectively, partners themselves need to find ways of changing their own behavior. If they do not, then their chances of really helping young people will be reduced.